In your life, you deserve to be more, do more, have more, and give more. And now the Becoming More podcast with Dianna Kokoszka.
She was the only one to lift me up.
Hello, I'm Dianna, and welcome to Becoming More. Today, we're going to be discussing the talk, and you have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to really learn about money, about helping your kids with money. And Dale has written a book for us, but first let's start out with what Dale does and a little bit about him. See, he's a certified financial planner and an employee benefit broker, and he helps so many people in opportunity to pour inspiration and motivation into others. He's been doing this for over 35 years. He combines his passion for living with writing and speaking opportunities to impact others' lives and attitudes. Dale and his lovely wife, Kimberly, reside in Canton, Georgia, and Jacksonville Beach, Florida, and have 3 children, Sophie, Grant, and Davis. So, Dale, welcome to Becoming More. And we know how important money is. I mean, the important part is to have some, right?
That's right. Kind of like air, right?
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like important. Oxygen. You need it, right?
It is.
Well, tell us a little bit about how you got started wanting to tell people about money and helping them.
That's a great question. God just landed in my heart years ago, a love for studying money. I don't know why. When I was in college, I loved studying what to do with money. And so I got out and went in the financial planning industry and then insurance and employee benefits. But I always stayed in love with the study of money. And I'm always talking to my kids about money. And so one night, our middle son a few years ago said, "Dad, you got to tell all of our friends this story, this principle that you talk about." So that's why I'm here today. I wrote it down in a lesson, started going around to high schools giving it. And the book came out and it just went crazy. And so here we are today, and I'm telling you the story. It's gone all over the world now. I've done international talks as well.
You know, you remind me of Simon Sinek when he said he started at tables with his friends, just talking about the why, what, and how. And
That's
then
right.
pretty soon people had him come into their corporations and asking him to speak, and look at him now.
That's right.
So you started at the kitchen table or in your home talking to people about money, and then it evolved. Now you're into states. Talk to us about what states you're in and what you're doing there.
So I've spoken in several states and even virtually all over the country and actually internationally. Uganda a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know where it'll go, but it's spreading like crazy just because of this once in a lifetime. And that's not exaggerating. This once in a lifetime moment that young adults have to really become one of the wealthiest, most generous people in the world. And it's not going to be hard for them. They have this moment in time to make this choice and make one decision that changes everything, like the book says.
The one choice, because first we make the choice, then the choice makes us. So what is this one choice that we should have our children as well as ourselves make? Okay,
so here it goes. This is what my son said. "Dad, you got to tell all of our friends this story." So here's the story. If you think back, if you've got a young adult, and I wrote this book for 16 to 24-ish, but it applies to everybody. You know, all ages say that they get something out of this, of the book. But I wrote this for 16, 24-year-olds that have yet to get that first real job. If you think back to when you got your first real job, one of those jobs that you fill out insurance paperwork from somebody, right? A real job. And when most of our young adults get out of high school or college, they're going to go get that first job. And when they get that first real job, they're going to go from making basically nothing to the most money they've ever seen in their life. Instead of taking and spending all 100% of that money, stop and only take 70% of it. Make 70% your 100%. 70% of that first job paycheck is still going to be the most money you've ever seen in your life. You're at 0. Stop at 70 and make 70 your 100. And here's why you can do that. You don't have a standard of living established yet. And whatever number, 70, whatever number you accept as your standard, that becomes your reality. Dianna, after a couple of months, you'll never know that 70 is not 100. It's just my 100. It's just what I know as my 100, but it's really 70. And then with the rest of it, I want you to invest 20% because 10's not enough. Invest 20% and take 10% of it and give it away to the world. Give it away. We'll come back to that point. Give it away. I don't care who you give it away to. Give it away. Make 70 your 100. And here's the most important thing that I'll say. These young adults have one shot to make this happen. Because if they take 3 of those first job paychecks, just 3 of them, spending all 100% of that paycheck, you will never back down to 70. It's over. And I don't care how much money you make. Well, I make 100. I don't care how much money you make. It's over. And you will live life like most of America, which is broke, stressed, angry, and anxious because of the weight of money. You know what the average American does, by the way? We don't take that first job paycheck and stop at spending 100% of it. No, we're smarter than we're so cocky and arrogant about how much money we're going to make in the future. We go get credit cards and debt and load up on debt and live on about 105% of that first job paycheck. And you will never back out. And you won't out earn your way. You can't say, well, I'll make more money in the future and I'll earn my way back down to 70. You won't do it. You won't do it. And here's why. Most money problems are not problems about money. They're not. I can prove that. They're not problems about money. So that's the point of this lesson, at this once in a lifetime chance that these young adults have. Imagine if you paid off a car loan. The next month, you've got $500 free dollars, don't you? Found money, free money. You can either turn that and use it for good, or you can leave it alone and let busyness and greed and advertising and just unawareness go grab it, and you can never get it back. It's gone forever. This is that decision on every paycheck for the rest of your life. And you have one shot to make this happen.
You've given us so much there, and I'm going to unpack some of this because we're talking about money being a resource and a tool for us versus just something that we spend all the time, right? Yeah. What is it, do you think, about getting that first paycheck? Because that is the decision point. And from there on, they're going to have problems. So here they've got one paycheck. They can take 70%. You said invest 20%, meaning Correct. Put it in a savings account.
So everything is in this book. Everything is here. I even go through I'll just show you the brochure, and this is on the website. It's under lesson notes. So you even get this brochure there. But I even show where do you save and invest it? I mean, where do you do that? And it's going to be in mutual funds. Everything is explained. What is a mutual fund? What are stocks, bonds, cash, real estate? What is all this stuff? I go through all those things and how to start, and even have a letter written under the Get Started link that takes them to actually opening accounts at brokerages. I'm not a licensed investment. I can't make money on anybody, but I send them to places to get this started. So even everything is there to tell you how to get started and how to do this. It's not hard. It's not going, but it's this one moment and that they have in their life to make this happen. And it's not going to be one of the easiest decisions they'll ever make, because they're at zero, remember? And they're going still to the most money you've ever seen in your life. Just stop at 70.
You know, what I love about this book is because you're saying where you start. And I think awareness is the first step to change. And you start out with, how smart are you about money? And I was taking this little assessment, if you will, or test, right? And I loved some of the questions that you said. I mean, I was taken back where one of them was about, if you look rich, you probably are rich. That's what people think, right?
That's right. That's what social media is telling us. that if you look rich, you're all these people on social media. And when I speak to youth, it's an amazing, because we really talk about what this is doing to us. This makes us think that if you look rich, these people have, it's actually completely the opposite. You would never know the average millionaire in this country. You would never know who they are. They're normal people that make normal money. They spend abnormally less of it than everybody else. Here's proof of that. The number 3 occupation of millionaires in the United States is an educator, behind an engineer and accountant. You wouldn't believe that, because they, quote, don't make a lot, but they don't spend a lot. And so a great friend of mine, one of the great financial planners in this country, said, investments don't make you wealthy. Living on less than you make makes you wealthy. And that's dead true. So I love that true, false, the questions, test your knowledge about money. Like, most Americans are rich. That's a great question to ask. Most Americans are rich. And people go, no. It's not true internationally. It is nationally. It's not true internationally. So,
well, I loved this one. If you want to play on the team, go to the gym. If you want to own the team, go to the library.
dead true. And a guy that most people don't know who said that, a guy named Chris Gardner. If you've ever seen the movie with Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness, it's by a guy named Chris Gardner, and his mom loved him. We were speaking in an event together, and we were backstage. He said, "Oh, my mama loved me." And she said, "Baby, if you want to play on the team, exercise your muscles, your talents. But if you want to own the team, exercise your mind. What are you reading? What are you studying? Because that's where you're going to be great." And he went on to have his own firm and sold it, and he's extremely wealthy today. Let me give you the example.
I've met him. Yeah.
Oh, he's a great man. Let me give you the example of well, they'll prove this if I lived on 70, if I invested 20, if I gave 10 away. And in the book, I'll just show you in the book, I have an actual example of I just kind of draw out what the numbers look like. But I start all these kids at a $36,000 starting salary out of high school or college. That's a normal starting salary in America. All the kids in the auditorium will achieve that. Everybody can achieve that. It's normal starting salary in America. And if you make 70 or 100, and that's where the magic happens. And people go, "Well, how you do that?" You figure it out. You figure it out. Look, you get some extra roommates for a year. You stay at home for an extra year. You figure it out. Well, that's hard. Yeah, being financially successful is hard. Being broke is hard. Pick your hard. Choose your hard, right? You got to choose one. Which one do you want? And so if you make 70 or 100 and you invest 20% and you give 10% away, at the end of your working life, you will have given away $437,000 given away and have $5.2 million on a $36,000 salary that does not care. Look at this. What kind of family you come from. It's a principle, and principles don't care. It doesn't care what education level you get. It doesn't care what race, what faith, or what country you're from. Dianna, money doesn't care. Anyone can be one of the wealthiest, most generous people in the world. The wealthy have just figured out how to have less going out than is coming in. It's not hard. It's not going to be hard for these young adults if they'll take this moment in their life on one decision. And like I said, most money problems are not problems about money. You just have to understand that, and it's not hard.
You know, that's in your chapter, so prove it, right? I love that chapter, especially the part that said, "It's my money. Why would I give it away?"
Mm-hmm. So one of the questions that we talk about with kids, because I know they're thinking, why would you ever give money away? Why would I give my money? Are you crazy? You lost your mind? Well, here's why I think you give money away. And I love this part of the whole lesson, probably more than any when I'm talking to young adults, is I ask them, maybe you know people dealing with anxiety, anxiousness, loneliness, anger, even worse thoughts. And part of the reason is what we're looking at much of the day, every day. Oh, he's bashing. So no, I don't care. I use social media to get other people to see me, to come do talks. I get it. But just listen to what it does. What this is telling me to do, Dianna, is to get more for myself. What this is telling me to do is to keep more for myself. This is telling me to hoard more for ourselves. This tells us that the way to success and happiness is by serving ourselves. It's the world's greatest lie. And if you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired of just no hope and no joy and no purpose, I've got no passion, I've got no reason. If you're just tired of that, it's about flipping the script and becoming second and serving others. The mind doesn't allow itself to feel hopeless when it's giving hope. God even built in our brains a reward system. Why would nature do it? A reward system that rewards us when you do good things. Chemicals that get released in our brain, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. When you do good things, there's a great feeling that comes with that. You know, people are selfless for selfish reasons. It makes you feel great. It makes you feel worth something. It makes you have purpose and passion in your life. And what if your whole world were flipped on that? And here's the second reason that you give, the selfish reason. It's the law of reciprocity, as you know. You can't outgive more than what you outget because the world rewards giving, Dianna.
Absolutely,
because the world
without
rewards
a
giving.
doubt.
Everybody wants to be around a person that's a giver. In my life, when I've given away 10, I've seen 12 come back. I'm not prosperity. I've just, whatever 10 and 12 are, I've just seen that work in my life. But here's what I tell kids. The trick that you don't understand about giving is when you start giving, what you think you want to get back when you start giving. Well, if I give 10, I'm going to have to get 12 back. The 12 that you, whatever that is, that you think you want to get back when you start giving, everything changes. And what you want to, what you really want to get back completely changes. Your life gets a new perspective. Because the 10% giving column will do more to and for you than the 20% investing column ever will. You'll care more about the giving column than the invest. You'll take from the investing column and move it to the giving column because of what it's going to do to your heart. Because everything about life changes when you start giving.
Well, you know, it's as you said, it's hard to feel hopeless when you're giving hope. And you've been pointing to your phone as you say, this is a lie, because it is the outside world. It's a worldly thing that they want us to think we need more so we look better. And all of us want to look good and be right, correct? So the two greatest advantages of being young, I love that chapter. There are advantages to being young. They can start out right now living on 70% of their income and keeping that going, right? So talk to us about being young.
So the greatest advantages they have, one of the questions that I ask is the stock market risky? And most everybody in the auditorium, yes, it's the risky. Well, is it really? And so we go back and we prove and we look at the historical trend of the stock market and we say, if you took $1 and you put it in three different places, you put it in the stock market, you put it in a bank, which is safe, right? Or you put it in a jar and put it underneath your mattress, which is really safe, right? That's sarcasm, right? And you put it in those three places and you go back to, let's stretch it out and see how to make the effect. 1926, when they started keeping records of the market, and you put $1 in the stock market, today it's worth $56,000. If you took it and you put it in a bank, which is safe, right? If you put it in a bank on the same relative scale, that $1 is worth $22, not $1,000 versus $56,000 for the stock market, $22. And if you put it in a jar, put it underneath your mattress, it would have to be worth $16 to keep up with the rising cost of stuff, of goods, which is what? Inflation. So your money has to work for you. And one of the great things, well, Dale, what about Ukraine? What about Russia? What about climate change? What about what about these bad things? And if you go back, and this is all in the book, and I show the historical pattern of the stock market and the worst events in world history, the Depression, World War II, JFK assassination, 97, the market crash of 87, COVID, and you look at all these worst events in world history. You can't even tell where those events happen. And the stock market is actually, the image is yo-yoing up a flight of stairs. It's up and down, up and down, up and down, but up a flight of stairs. That's the historical trend of the stock market. It's yo-yoing up and down, but up a flight of stairs. And so when you say, is the stock market risky? I tell these young people, you should walk up to the adults at the party when you hear them saying, well, you know that stock market's risky. You walk up and you go, talking about steps or floors? And they go, what? Step to step, the market is risky. Floor to floor, by far, it's the safest place to be. And what their young age allows them to do, to your point, it allows them to be more aggressive in the things that they invest in, okay, and ride out that yo-yo that's up and down every year, okay? So it lets them have more peace because it's long-term. So that's an advantage they have that I very much don't have because I'm not their age to ride that stuff out. So we talk about the stock market, which is a major difference between maybe being able to retire one day and being able to retire with so much money. You've got teams of advisors around the table figuring out how you're going to deploy your assets. Just understanding that one principle about the stock market.
Well, you give us a lot of resources. I know, I can tell your passion is fabulous.
I love this stuff.
And you're helping so many people. See, even the talkaboutmoney.com gives resources for us to go and see. And I literally have devoured this book, folks. I mean, it is amazing what you're teaching the kids, and you're in states all over America. You've been around the world. And so tell us how we can reach out to you to learn more and to get this book in our hands.
Amen. Thank you. So the talkaboutmoney.com has everything you need, the link to Amazon, the media articles, TV shows, all that kind of stuff, the actual whole lesson, the 55-minute lesson. If you want to watch it, by the way, the book is on Audible. It's on, you can buy the audio book as well. And I narrate it. There's no way I was letting anybody narrate my book. So, but the whole lesson is on the talkaboutmoney.com. You can watch the whole thing. Again, the brochure is there. It's called lesson notes. You can print that out and hold those as you watch it. The Get Started letter that I wrote that tells you how to get into mutual funds. Everything is there. The links are all there. So everything is done. And so the talkaboutmoney.com. It's been crazy.
Well, you may think it's hard to know where to begin, yet Dale gives us the answer, and he can help give your kids the answer. Have them listen to this podcast, have them buy the book, or you buy the book for them. It's a great Christmas gift as well.
And it's 87 pages, by the way, just 87 pages. So it's it's a quick read.
I read it on the way back after meeting you in Atlanta at Truett Cathy, right? At Trilla. Right. And I read it on the airplane on the way home. So Dale, thank you so much for helping us become more with our money and allowing that money to work for you.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
The best time to save money is when you have some, right?
Amen.
And you're helping us have some. Thank you so much, Dale.
Thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
In your life, you deserve to be more, do more, have more, and give more. And now the Becoming More podcast with Dianna Kokoszka.
She was